the moon, and you're hearing the crew observe. We're hearing their chatter coming down from Orion, and you've had a huge role in getting the team trained along with your fellow science officers and science teams to get the crew ready for these moments. So now that you're hearing them sort of geek out, and we heard yesterday Christina say that Victor is loving how he's seeing Oriental. So tell us a little bit about how that makes you feel and what you're expecting more of as we get closer.
Well, first of all, we're expecting the moon to get bigger and bigger in the window, and I know they're excited about that. So we had an opportunistic view of the moon yesterday that I think you're referring to, that they had some awesome words, and our science team was buzzing upstairs in our science evaluation room. Super excited. They put together a ton of good words for the crew, and we're really encouraged on, as the moon gets closer, how it's going to continue to pull out the nuance that they want in some of our science objectives, and so they're excited about that. And we're also looking forward to some of the additional things like the solar eclipse that we're going to get as after our lunar observation. So they are just buzzing just like the crew are in our science evaluation room, and it's really fun to see.
That is a great segue to my next question, which is related to the solar eclipse. Can you tell us a little bit about that? That happens on flight day 6, which is Monday for us here on Earth, but later in the day, right?
Yeah, it's all part of that flyby sequence. And so there's a total of 5 shifts that the crew will be going through. The first 4 of them will be looking at the lunar surface. And so we have a number of science objectives to capture all the nuance that the science team has put together as part of those targets, that target package I referenced earlier. The 5th shift happens after we do the main portion of the flyby around the far side of the moon. About an hour later, the spacecraft becomes eclipsed by the moon, which is going to be pretty big out their window, the sun behind it, and so they'll be able to see the sunset, the solar corona as the sun sets, and then about a 53, somewhere a little bit under an hour, they'll see the sun rise, and so they get some unique opportunities while the sun's setting to observe the solar corona and all the aspects of the heliophysics behind that, as well as the sunrise. But then when the sun is behind the moon, from their perspective, they'll be able to view stars and other planets in that illumination condition too. So we've got some targets that are really going to be cool for them to
and the imagery that will come down. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, everybody's going to be waiting on those images.
Oh my gosh, we can't wait to show those to the world. And tell us a little bit about what we can expect on Flight Day 6 on flyby itself. I understand that the moon held at arm's length will be as large as a basketball at closest approach. Can you talk us through a little bit about flyby?
Yeah, so I referenced those 5 shifts. So the 4 shifts where they're actually, the windows are pointing at the moon. You're right about arm's length. It looks like about the size of a basketball. And so a lot of those targets will be associated with the lunar observations of the surface. And so we're looking forward to those. There's got a lot of information in there for science to chew on for both the folks that are taking the pictures out the window, and then there will be a lunar observer. And so they'll be capturing all those things on their portable computer and via the awesome cameras that we also have on board. And so we'll also be actively downloading those to be able to share with the world as well.
So speaking of sharing with the world, these 4 humans, these 4 explorers are going to be seeing the far side of the moon for the first time in over 50 years. So what can we expect? How do you feel about that? So many questions, but I'll let you reflect on that.
Yeah, it's really fantastic for 2 points. One is the science part of that, of actually getting human eyes on these places that haven't seen it in the way that this crew is going to be able to see it. So they're going to be able to see places that they can make human observations of, that we're really excited about, in a way that's unique, because they'll be able to see the whole lunar disk, like that whole basketball out at arm's length. They'll be able to make comparisons and contrast differences between the whole disk and the locations on the moon that we're asking them to take a look at.
So is it true that, when we're looking at the moon from down here on Earth, we can see some of the basalt, we can see some of the geological features of the moon where we've had some craters and things like that. So when we're looking at the moon that close, I understand that human eyes are a little bit, they can pick up color and things like that. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?